Get this 11 to 1 weekdays on the Triple M network. With my self-respected broadcaster, Tony Martin.
That is absolutely false.
We've got TV beefcake, Ed Cavalier.
That is absolutely false as well.
And pushing the buttons, it's pants-down dentist, Richard Marsland.
Equally, absolutely false.
Welcome aboard, everybody. Hey, let's see what's in the papers. What can we take the piss out of today?
Spies?
Nah. Chappelle Corby in prison.
I had a barroom brawl with the sailors from the Kitty Hawk.
Gee, there's a lot going on the top of Phil Spector's head today, I'll give you that.
Absolutely right. Skiers getting married?
Oh, hang on. Comedy duo and feud.
Oh.
Sounds good. Wait a moment! That's me!
Oh, no.
Have you seen this?
Yeah.
Obviously, people have heard Mick Malloy and myself are in dispute.
Dispute.
And what I love is it's over DVD extras.
Yeah. It was always going to be.
It was always going to be the trouble. It's not sex.
Nope.
It's not money.
Nope.
It's DVD extras.
Yeah.
Very nerdy.
I don't know what I can say about this because I've been advised by lawyers not to comment. I don't know if you guys are under the same restrictions, though. So any questions you'd like to throw at me? Come on, guys. Boots and all. In you go.
Well,
I've never seen you so quiet in Cavalier. You were full of things to say downstairs in the office.
no, well, it just seems like a shame,
Yeah. It is a shame.
You guys work together so long. I hope that perhaps that one day because the photo in the paper today is you two kind of squaring off.
What did I tell you when we had our photos taken?
Never take a photograph where you look angry or sad because when things go wrong, that's the one they use.
If you do the comedy sad photo,
Yeah.
then your show gets axed.
Bang.
There's always a shot of you looking sad, and then there's a little box with your figures in, and it looks like you're checking them out. What I love, if you look in the Herald Sun, there's me and Mick Malloy feuding, and then if you turn the page, there's a dog and a cat who are friends.
See, this is the thing, Tone. When I got into work today and they said, Tone's in the paper, I went, yeah, good. What page is he on? He's on page 3. Had a look, thought, I should probably read this, but is that a cat on the next page? And I didn't make it too far down the article before I had to switch over and find out the circumstances of their friendship.
I've got all of the versions from around the country, and what's amusing in the Sydney Daily Telegraph is apparently this is all about some movie that we worked on called Boys Town.
Wait a second.
Now, what is that?
Hang on.
Don't go typing Boys Town into Google.
It's porno.
It's not what you think it is.
Gay porno.
It's something you're likely to find on the bottom shelf at Shea Marsland.
How long...
Actually, I'll put it up on the top shelf away from any prying eyes so no one can see it behind the books.
It'd be very interesting if it was Boys Town that you guys have been working on and you were feuding over the DVD extras of that. That would be an interesting, some deleted scenes that you thought.
Oh,
Two blokes having a row with arseless chaps on. That'd be the go.
No, it's about a thing that you made, isn't it? It's about a movie that you were in the process of making for.
All I can say are facts. I'm not allowed to offer any opinions.
All right,
I've
so
been
what
told.
are the facts, Tone?
The facts are I made a film.
Yep.
The fact is it wasn't on the DVD.
Okay.
That's as much as I can say, I think.
Really?
Lockie Hume seems to have a lot to say about it.
Yeah,
though.
Lachey's never been known for his, how do you say, tact. So you're going to do it as a stage play? Theatre restaurant show?
Yeah, you reckon that's the go?
Oh, it's a great idea.
Sort this out on the
Yeah.
in an all hail the beef scenario.
That's the only spot. It's the only proper forum for this, Tone.
Got up this morning, 700 answering machine messages.
From?
Journos.
Oh, yeah.
People from the cage wanting me to come on.
Really?
Talk it up.
Talk it up.
So I can't say very much. That's the problem. We talk about everything on the show.
Yeah, we do.
But the lawyers...
You get sued, will you?
but it is very sad because it's a 25-year relationship, something like that.
Oh, something like that.
Yeah. It's a shame. I mean, if dog and cat can get along well on
know.
page 7,
Yeah.
what's going on page 5?
Dog and cat are leading the way. Got up this morning, so I've gone, okay, answering machine messages, ignore them.
Ignore them.
And I half thought maybe there'd be press out the front of the house. Get out the front. There's a bloke who's always playing a game with his dog.
Yeah.
Normally shouts out to me, just looked at the ground in embarrassment today.
Oh, dear.
Didn't want to say anything. I thought, oh, okay, I'm in the car.
Lost your one supporter.
I'm driving into work. I'm at the lights. Tap, tap, tap on the side of the window of the car. Bloke on a bicycle. Wind down the window. Mate, is that true what I've been reading in the papers? And I go, yeah, sadly it is true. And he goes, mate, that movie sucked. You wouldn't want to ever falling out over that.
Well, there you go.
It's got water cooler talk.
He's
He hasn't even seen it yet.
blokes on the
This one.
bikes. Oh, really? Jeez, if blokes on bikes are talking about it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's turning very ugly.
Because I was saying, because when you see, we got some publicity for the show, and well done to you.
And this is the first time we've been in the Murdoch press.
And I'm planning...
Finally, I mean, we even offered to wear the same pair of pants, Hamish and Andy style. No bites.
You know, bake us into a pie, send us to someone, we'll jump out.
Bringing back the Sheffield Shield to primetime coverage.
Absolutely right. And I've planned a number of feuds, but no one wants to feud with me.
Yeah, come on.
Well, I'm just wondering if Ed and I can Frank Sinatra style, like when he did with Martin and Lewis.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen
On a
somehow.
live... No? Okay.
Well, we'll find... I know what I need here is cheering up. I need one of Ed Cavali's songs. What have you got for me today, Ed?
Tone, at these tough times, I turn to the only people I know that can make me feel better, the Moody Blues.
Nights quite sad
It's you guys.
and never reach to the end.
This is the exact lyrics, isn't it?
Something or other, something else.
That's enough about the DVD feud.
Wow.
What about drugs? No, I wasn't offering you any drugs.
Whoa!
I meant the issue of drugs.
What a show. What a controversial show.
It seems to be emerging that it was actually a joke. It was an attempt at a joke, I think, from Daniel Johns.
Pretty interesting.
Because the idea is Bono and Peter Garrett are apparently, I didn't know this, famously anti-drugs. So it's like us saying, oh, yeah, I went out for a night on the Terps with Mother Teresa and the Pope.
Ah, right.
It's one of those.
Yeah.
But it's not going away. Did you guys see the 7:30 report last night?
No, I didn't.
They had Peter Costello on, and check out what he had to say.
Mr. Costello, there's been some suggestion this week that our presence in Iraq has perhaps more to do with oil than with any... If I could cut in there, Kerry, I mean, that'd have to come as news to our troops stationed over there. I don't think that's the reason they've, bravely decided to lay down their lives. I mean, it's a very cynical way of looking at things. All right, fair enough. What about what's going on in the Northern Territory? I mean, your government has come in for a fair bit of criticism from...
criticism? I don't think, criticism is perhaps the most healthy thing to be offering our boys and girls in Iraq. I mean, how would they feel?
Okay, well, let's maybe turn to the polls. I mean, you must be disappointed in...
the polls. Okay, let's hit our brave young girls and boys in Iraq with the polls now. Let's bash them over the head with the figures.
Well, I can see we're getting nowhere here. Now, this incident with, Daniel Johns and Peter Garrett, I mean, you've mentioned that. Obviously, that's been exposed as a joke. Well, now...
let's call drugs a joke. Yeah, that's a good idea, Kerry. Let's have a bit of comedy at the expense of crack babies. Is that what Kevin Rudd would like to do now?
I'm not sure that Kevin Rudd was implicated in Mr. Johns' attempt at humour.
Well, I think, it has to be asked, is it funny to have a bloke sitting on the front bench dancing around like a spastic in old video clips, clearly under the influence of jazz cigarettes, in thrall to Dame Heroin?
Oh, I don't think there's any suggestion that Peter Garrett is involved in heroin.
Well, is there a suggestion that he's not? Kerry, that's the thing. Once you get these druggies into Parliament and look at them, the front bench is riddled with...
What are you talking about?
Wayne Swan. I mean, that bloke looks pretty glassy-eyed to me. I've heard he's been knocking back the old Timothy Leary kerosene.
Right.
I've heard that Simon Crean can barely go 4 or 5 minutes without wolfing down a few hookah pipes filled with bed straw, as he likes to say.
Okay. Yep.
Jenny Macklin.
Right.
I mean, she's clearly been... knocking back the zoot juice, the flower of ragweed, the hate Ashbury salad, I believe they call it, over in
I'm sorry.
on the opposition benches. I mean, is that who you want in charge of our children? The young boys and girls in Baghdad are fighting for freedom? Oh, gee, Kerry, if that's what you want to call good policy, then sure. Let's let Julia Gillard and her flea-bane cigar...
Mr. Costello, you seem very... au fait with the terminology here. I've not heard that.
I mean, who wouldn't be, Kerry? When you're staring at it across the house every day, you can see them.
Yeah.
There's Lindsay Tanner.
Right.
Doing lines of the old Gatsby detergent, I think they call it.
Okay, look, you've lost me.
Arch Beavis, knocking back some of the old Helsinki battery acid on.
Sorry, look, I don't understand a word you're saying. Are you sure you don't need to be drug tested, Mr. Costello?
Look, I'm quite happy to be tested at any moment. Look, here. There you go. Stick a thermometer up there and see what you get, Kerry.
Well, I don't know that that's exactly how one tests for presence of
Go on.
marijuana.
Pop it up there. See what you find. And I'll tell you what you'll find. Solid economic policy. And if you want to go over to the other side, I'll tell you what you'll find. Death and misery and deadly nightshade. Being injected directly into the eyeball by Peter Garrett.
Right.
Anthony Albanese's there tying them off. You've got Tony Burke coming in with horse trank for everybody.
Well, I don't think we've got time for any more revelations.
Well, if you can't handle the truth, Kerry, I mean, maybe you need to be tested.
Well, I'm quite happy to be tested, Mr. Treasurer, but would you mind putting your pants back on?
I saw Stephen Conroy trying to smuggle a boogie board into the upper house the other day.
Okay.
Now, what is bed straw?
All of this terminology was emailed to me last night by Richard Marsland.
Yeah.
Rich, what's Helsinki
That was the
battery
best-
acid?
That was the best fun I've ever had in the world, just finding things that shouldn't go together. Looking up old apothecaries, some of Kellogg's finer work back in the 1920s, shotgunning 6 packs of laudanum. I find didn't make the cut.
Yeah, I didn't use hanging out with Cottonmouth Pete and his mate Daniel S. Burrows. What I love is you've sent me all of this weird-ass drug terminology, and there's not one phrase on there as disturbing to me as Arch Beavis. Oh, you're not on the Arch Beavis, I hope.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear.
All right, that's drugs and politics covered. You've been sizzling up an exclusive interview. Can I have that now?
Yeah, let's have it now.
Let's do it.
Because Gretel Killeen is, she's just making her way into the studio now, and I'm just about to welcome her. Oh, but she's got a contract here, and I have to turn on her requested lighting. If you could do that now, Rich. Thank you.
Sure. Clear.
And, yep, that's all of her floodlights. And now let's cut to our exclusive interview with Gretel Killeen. Gretel, how are you?
I work on TV.
Thanks for your time.
Man, the exclusives keep on coming here.
Keep on coming. It's bright in here now, isn't it?
Wow.
Jeez.
First, Keith Urban's pants.
Yeah.
Now, can we switch some of them off? I don't know.
Sure.
You haven't got the sound of them being switched off, have
I'll
you?
turn them off.
All right.
So many.
Talk amongst yourselves, listeners. We'll be a while.
Many.
Ed Cavalier is here. Slightly asleep today. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, I'm sorry, Tone.
So you can't be hyped up every day.
No, but I stayed up late watching Foxtel, waiting for Police
really?
10-7 to come on. And then I woke up really early in the morning, and they were showing old Batman television show.
Oh, I love that show.
It's quite a strange way to start your day, though.
Oh, no, it's the best way. What, the old Adam West Burt Ward?
Burt Ward is really up for solving crime.
Yeah, that guy.
In a major way.
He never sleeps through an episode.
He's incredible.
Who was the bad guy?
A lady had kidnapped Aunt Mabel or something.
Aunt Harriet.
That's the one. And it was quite an elaborate kidnapping, and she was, her identity was secret and all this sort of stuff.
Who's the lady? What lady?
Some lady.
Poison Ivy?
No, she worked in a bookstore.
Oh.
She would have been working with the bookworm.
That was it. Yeah, the bookworm was there.
Roddy McDowell.
Roddy McDowell. But
A bad guy dressed as a book. What is his powers? Speed reading?
Paper cuts?
All right, so that's...
But hang on a sec. Batman was trying to work out how to get her back, but he appeared on television with the Commissioner,
Yeah.
Burt Ward, and Bruce Wayne. So the three of them just interrupted regular programming to appeal to the kidnapper, who was watching television at the time, thankfully.
Bruce Wayne and his friend Burt Ward.
Yeah,
No, his youthful ward,
Yeah, all
Dick
right.
Grayson.
his youthful ward, who was sitting there. So you've got a man, an elderly gentleman, the Commissioner of the Police, right? Then you've got a Rupert Murdoch type tycoon figure, and then a bloke in tights just appearing on national television saying, "Please give back our auntie." And the kidnapper was so upset at this that she decided to release the auntie. But the way she thought to do it, the cunning plan to release the auntie was to drive the middle of the main street and open the door for her and let her get out. And the people walked up in little caps and goes, "Are you that woman that got kidnapped?" And I go, yes, I am. "Oh, somebody better call the police." And she goes, "Would you mind calling the police?" "Yeah, I wouldn't mind calling the police for you." And the guy just ran away. And so the aunt was just left to stand by herself. It was baffling. It was baffling.
That's how you start your day at the Dude Ranch.
Yeah, that's how we got things kicked off. It was so baffling that my flatmate walked in, got himself a bowl of Dick Smith's Bush Foods, looked at it for 2 minutes and went, "Geez, that Robin's excitable," and walked out.
Your MySpace page, Ed, how do you decide, who are the friends at the top?
It's quite random. Like, I don't really... It's people I know, right, up the top. Because I've only done it once, months ago now, so I've kind of stopped looking at it.
It's not based, as some of your friends are suggesting, on level of hotness.
I would love that. I'm more...
It's not high-quality tail at the top.
but
Nerds and losers down the bottom. You're not doing that, are you?
Yeah, but you can't say, Richard, that it wouldn't look good to have 24 top friends, all hot chicks.
Okay, well, somebody has done that.
Yeah.
And you know who would be man enough to do that? Matt Dow on the Pots and Pans has addressed me to this bloke here, Wolfgang Van Halen.
Who is that?
I think it's Eddie
It's Eddie Van Halen's son who plays in Van Halen now.
and hasn't felt the need to get on the treadmill before getting into the spandex. And have a look at all his friends. Where are his friends? Down here. It's just like...
Wow.
Check it out. It's just like Ralph magazine.
Whoa, Tailfest.
I can't believe that, because that is Wolfgang Van Halen there.
Wow.
There you go. He's cutting quite a silhouette.
He sure is.
You shouldn't touch the screens here, should you?
Look at you.
I should never be allowed to
Good
use
job,
the computer.
Wolfgang.
See? Imagine being Wolfgang Van Halen.
Wolfgang Cavalier.
I guess someone's gone, you could lose some weight, and he's gone, I'm Wolfgang Van Halen.
Yeah, tell me what to do.
Why should I do anything?
Pass me that cream pie.
That is not the topic here at Get
Man.
This today. What I want to do on Talkback Mountain is talk about made-up words.
Oh, yes.
Words you've invented yourself
Oh, yes,
and
yes, yes.
introduced into the language. I love it when people come up with words.
What do you got?
There's a show on Foxtel that my wife enjoys called What
Bean?
Not to Wear.
Oh,
Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Is that with Trini and Tranny or whatever they're called?
Yeah, and they get sort of women and they push them into a booth and make them wear fashionable clothes.
It's really punishing because inevitably their answer is always, put a scarf on.
Well, here's what one of their subjects had to say about herself last night.
He wants to see his wife as a woman and not as a geezer bird, which is what I am at the moment.
A geezer bird. See, that's what I'm talking about.
Is that kind of birds of a feather tracksuit?
It's kind of like Frank Butcher from EastEnders in drag.
Ouch.
Oh, okay.
I'm a geezer bird.
Oh, God.
Apples and pears.
No, thanks.
All
Put
right,
'em- Put them
Governor.
away.
A geezer bird. I saw another one on the news now. Please don't call in and complain. It's to do with that horrible case, the Diane Trimble case. 8 persons of interest. Not here to make jokes about that.
No.
It's just they spoke to the late Miss Trimble's doctor. Not making fun, but this is a word he coined on the news last night.
I was actually a bit dumbfounded and I felt a bit sick.
Numbfounded.
That's new.
That's what I'm talking about. A new word we can introduce into the lexicon.
It's when you're both shocked and confused at the same time. It's,
And numb.
After a night with Daniel Johns.
Oh, yeah.
In The Age today in Melbourne, they're making fun of their rival newspaper, the Herald Sun, because they described Glenn Wheatley as having a white-smiled grin. A white-smiled grin. Numbfounded.
Yeah,
I'm a geezer bird.
This is what we're looking for.
Words. I've been trying to introduce a word for years because my favourite word, I reckon my favourite word of all time is shambolic. Isn't that a great word?
I always thought that you made that up.
No, I use it a lot. It wasn't mine.
Right.
Shambolic. It's of a shambles.
And it sounds like what it is.
It's got sham in there. It's got bollock in there. Isn't that a great word? No, the word I came up with was a companion word to shambolic, debacular. I drop it in on this show
That's
occasionally.
nice.
Of a debacle. Debacular.
Lovely.
Hasn't caught on in the wider community, but I'm still punching like a man with a beater machine while VHS is taking off.
We have a word in the Dude Ranch, pain wind. Now, a pain wind is when you're standing, because it's freezing in our living room. It's freezing. Now, when you stand over the heater, which is an air heater, which shoots air directly up,
Doing the old Marilyn Monroe.
doing a 7-year itch kind of feel, right, in track pants. But if you happen to cut one loose,
Oh, yeah.
if you happen to break wind,
As so often happens, apparently.
it's expressed because of the heater straight into your face in a matter of microseconds.
Numbfounded.
And
Leaves you numbfounded.
it happened to one of my flatmates this morning, and he lay on the ground writhing like he was on fire. because it was so horrible.
Before we went to air, Richard Marsden said to me, I don't have any words. I've never invented any words. He sent me a whole sheet of words for
we
the
go.
Peter
Yeah,
Costello
exactly.
sketch last night.
I've got one that I use with my friends, one friend in particular, but it's if someone has the hump. You know that?
Yeah,
Isn't that an old like Victorian phrase or something?
know
like
where
if,
that comes from.
If someone's annoyed with you, they've got the hump. But you can't be annoyed with the other person if the other person has done some really good things like wash the dishes,
Yes.
or given you a lift to the airport, that kind of thing. So therefore, you have no hump privilege. You don't have the leash hasn't been loosened enough for you to be annoyed with me. Does that make sense?
Does make sense,
So
bro.
you can only get annoyed with me if you've got hump privilege, which means that you've done some great things
I
for
don't
me
know
today.
if I want hump privilege with you, Richard Marsden.
But if you've done some wonderful things for me today, if you've done some photocopying or got me a coffee, I can't possibly have any hump privilege with you.
He's done some wonderful. He's told you something you can have fun with over the heating vent. There's
Yeah,
something
lovely.
to try
okay.
at home.
There we go. The pain wind,
All right.
the geezer birds.
All right, geezer birds,
This is a dream, right?
give us a. This is really going to air.
Okay. G'day, John.
Deciduate, it's one of my wife's words. She
Dis-
comes up with these words a lot, often by accident, but this one stuck with us because it's describing what a tree does when it loses its leaves.
Deciduate. That's not bad. That might almost be a real word.
Yeah, that's what we thought. I've actually introduced it in conversations with other people when you're talking about trees, and now some of our friends actually use it.
Is that right? How do you just sort of drop it into a conversation?
Oh, we were talking about gardening and stuff.
Yeah. Did you see that bloke on the news last night tried to rob a bank disguised as a tree?
How good was he?
He was deciduating from the moment he got into that bank.
Deciduating for quite some time in jail, I think.
There you go.
Certainly. Nice word. Thanks, John.
G'day, Anne-Marie.
G'day, Ed. How are you today?
Good. Talk us through your word.
Well, I tend to suffer a little bit of road rage when I'm driving, and
Fair
when
enough.
my children were little, in order to avoid kindergarten incidences of inappropriate expletives, we decided on a family expletive, and the word for a total and utterly annoying idiot driver on the road is called a flugelmeister.
Oh, I don't think we can say that in this time slot.
Tone it down a bit.
Are there a lot of flugelmeisters out there today?
Absolutely an incredible array out there.
Wow. So you've got kids, so you're trying to wean yourself off the swear words.
Yes.
Yeah, see, we don't have kids, so we don't have that kind of restriction, but I am trying to tone down. Here's something, you can do it in stages. Whenever you feel the need to use the F word,
Right.
just say piss. I know it sounds a bit blunt, but it's fun to rediscover that word and inject it with new energy.
Absolutely.
When I'm sick of that, I'll tone it down again. I'll eventually get to Flugelmeister.
Lovely.
Yep.
Oh, piss! I'm telling you. You're weaning yourself off the F word. It can be done. Thank you, Anne-Marie. Who's next?
Hi, Richard.
Snut.
What is a snut?
Snut. Well, I used to go out with an older lady a few years ago, and she used to call me her little snut. It's a slut with nuts.
There you
That's
go.
beautiful.
A slut with nuts.
That's beautiful, Richard. That is just gorgeous. And you guys still together?
No.
Ah.
It all went a bit Flugelmeister.
Yeah.
Alan Brough, a former occupant of this very time slot, is sitting in today. You remember Tough Love years ago?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
In the first year of that show.
Yeah, look, I'll be perfectly honest. I mean, I don't know if anyone knows. I was just on drugs the whole time. No idea what went on.
Knew it.
Yeah, it's just
That
it was just a blur for me.
Can you pick up some of your old ice pipes? They're really starting to clutter up the office.
Are
aren't
they?
Yeah.
Certainly explains some of the sketches we've been finding in the computer. But, of course, is Spicks and Spicks currently
What's happening?
in production? What's the story?
No, we've filmed our bunch and it goes
I
on
heard
for-
you film about 42 episodes in a week and a half, like in January, and then it just keeps going for the whole year.
That's pretty much it. No, and since it's been so successful, the ABC will make us do it in a week now.
Very good.
Yeah, it is. It's basically, I saw that thing about people being kidnapped to work in brickworks in China, and I thought, oh, well, there we go. They've got it easy. They don't have to make an entertaining television series every 5 seconds. But no, so we've filmed all our episodes, and they'll go on till November, and then we'll make a Christmas special in 10 minutes, and then we'll be allowed a day off, and then every 15 seconds we'll make one more episode.
Beautiful. Alan, I don't know if you heard what Ed said about you earlier. Because I know you are a rock guru, certainly one of many in this building, but what was the sizzle that you were providing, Ed?
I said that Alan would be providing us with a detailed Venga Boys update.
Yeah, now it's really interesting you should say that.
That's sizzle.
Oh, yeah.
Sizzling hot.
It's kept everyone listening for the last hour.
That's a monster hot pot. I
You
believe
betcha.
it's sizzling. The problem was I was on public transport. I was listening to the show, and at approximately 11:20 realised I needed to find out a lot about the Venga Boys. Can I tell you, it scares people on public transport if you go up to them unsolicited and go, "So the Venga Boys, what are they up to?" And to jog their memories, I sung a bit of the Venga Boys are coming. No, everyone ended up at the front of the bus with just me down the back.
Have we got the actual recording of that song?
The Venga bus is coming and everybody's running from north to Ibiza in the Mediterranean sun.
Is that the Bob Dylan version of it?
It goes a bit Keith Urban at the end.
All of Richard Marsden's songs go a bit Bob Dylan at the end.
Can you imagine the Venga Boys versus Keith Urban?
Oh,
that needs to happen.
Cue up some that Flowers song by Keith Urban. I don't know if you sort of a running topic on this show, Alan, is we all know about Keith Urban, his haircut and his wife, but none of us can name a single song that he's ever done. Can you think of one?
No, I can't actually. I do know that don't children write a lot of his lyrics?
If we got one here.
Flowers, flowers drifting by the pane. In my dreams, so sweet, flower red, blue or pink.
That has become more well known here at Triple M than any actual Keith Urban song.
I got Antonia Kidman calling me up wanting to go out on the back of that bad boy.
Yeah.
Is it playlisted yet, that song?
No.
I'd like to think it
As
will
soon as
be.
Fall Out Boy does a cover, we're in.
How is Antonia Kidman?
Oh, it's good. Yeah, introducing stuff on the Fox.
Antonia Kidman was the subject of a rather unfortunate bus shelter campaign for a while there for something she was doing on Foxtel called The Bigger Things. And they just put the phrase The Bigger Things across her breasts
There
on
you
all
go.
the bus shelters. The Bigger Things with Antonia Kidman. Yes, we can see them. Thank you.
What was the program about, pray tell?
I don't know. It was just stuff that's like bigger than other things, I'm assuming. They've got a lot to fill there on Foxtel, Alan. Now, did you watch Live Earth over the weekend, any of it?
Yeah, I did. I watched the post show where they cleaned up all the millions of bottles that people had dropped.
Environmentally friendly, of course. And was there any highlights for you? I kept tuning in and Sting was on, so I just had to switch over.
I enjoyed Al Gore. I thought his spoken word performance was just excellent. I also liked the fact that James Hetfield from Metallica was arrested at Heathrow Airport before doing the gig because of his beard made him look a little bit like a Muslim. That is absolutely no word of a lie. That you can check that in the News Limited papers today. Supposedly, he's got a sort of wispy beard that I really makes him look like what he is, a guy who plays metal.
Yeah. Yes.
But no, the vigilant geezers at Heathrow Airport sprung on him immediately as a potential terrorist.
Wow.
And
so it's not enough to just be of Middle Eastern appearance now. If you look like you could be in Metallica, be careful.
Well, beards are out, thus ZZ Top never going to tour in England ever again.
Daniel Kitson can't get back into his own country.
Well, exactly. But look, the Venga Boys were mentioned before.
Yeah.
There was nowhere near enough. There was a lot of J-pop in Japan. J-pop. It's and it was also canto pop and stuff like that.
Oh, yes, canto pop.
Yeah, and it's hilarious.
High Five of Teenagers is my favourite band.
Yep. And so there was a bit of that, but there was no Euro.
No
stuff.
Eurobeat.
There was no Eurobeat.
Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. What should have been in there? What acts should have been given a Guernsey? Mr. Marsden, who would you like to
You would
see?
assume that if Crowded House got back together, surely the Oils could have gotten back together for Live Earth. It's right down there. I mean, it all went off without a hitch, except for the fact that Genesis performed.
Ouch.
But I'm with you. I would have liked the Euro dance 24/7.
Okay.
Jam and spoon right in the night.
Here we go.
Too unlimited.
You ready?
Too unlimited with tribal dance.
What about Roy Olivier at Den Burger? No groove coverage. DJ Alligator didn't get a run. Len with Steal My Sunshine. Overlooked. Rick Astley got nothing. And perhaps with the most glaring oversight, Paps and Scar. No dice.
No.
Bowling for Soup in there?
No dice.
Five for Fighting?
No dice.
Also, I noticed that the Australian Dolls show. No.
They should do an all-cover band.
But you imagine what would you raise money though for if it was only cover bands?
It's to raise money for people who are just pretending to be into saving the environment.
Oh yes.
Like, John Howard, for example, Rupert Murdoch, people like that.
The Australian Environment Show, sort of like the environment, not really.
Just for the New Zealanders listening, if Crowded House can get back together, why not Hog Snort Rupert?
Oh,
There's an obscure New Zealand band.
And Mother Goose.
Oh,
Mother
my
Goose
God,
could get back together.
beats.
Oh,
But Monty Viday on the cassettes, are they New Zealand?
Shoop Shoop Diddy Wop Come Come a Wang Dang.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Recorded in the studios at Radio Hauraki. This show's getting to New Zealand. Stop what you're saying. Always a lot of complaints. One day, remember we had you and Cal Wilson in, and I'd never
Someone called
experienced that kind of anti-New Zealand racism on the radio. What do you have to be in New Zealand to get on this bloody show now, dude?
I got it. A friend of mine who works in Brisbane on a competing radio network.
They're rubbish.
Shortwave, I believe they're called. And she was talking to her program director, who said, "Now, Alan Brough's on the radio," and she said, "Yeah," and he said, "But he's from New Zealand." And she went, "Yeah," and he said, "Well, that can't be right.
Yeah.
This is Australia."
That's so true.
And
that is so true.
I mean, it was like I'd been arrested at Heathrow for having a Muslim like me.
All right. We want to hear from you, listeners. We don't want to hear complaints about too many Kiwis on the radio today. We want to hear who was left off the bill that should have been there at Live Earth.
G'day, Nick.
Oh, I've got a few. First of all, Kamal.
Often does the Lily World at the Big Day Out tour. Does a great job.
Yeah, he should have got a gig there.
Yeah.
Nick Kershaw, of course.
Yeah. Nick, can I ask, Nick, have you dropped the C from Nick in tribute to Nick Kershaw yourself?
No, I haven't yet.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. Absolutely.
Getting on the wagon. And also Ace of Base.
Look, nothing says save the planet like I saw the sign. You're absolutely right, Nick.
I like Ace of Base.
Yeah. All that she needs is another baby. Is that an Ace
Now,
of Base?
All that she wants is
All
another
she
baby.
wants is
Okay,
another
get
baby.
it right.
Here we go.
Yeah, there's a difference between what she wants and what she needs. People need to learn that.
Now, Alan.
Kids are just nightmares now.
Richard, now listen, this is a topic I bring up a lot. All that she wants is another baby. Now, does she want an actual baby or does she just want someone to sleep with for the evening? Because all that she wants is another baby. She's gone tomorrow because all she wants is another baby.
Yeah, look, this is an IVF argument, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I don't know. I always thought that it was baby in the metaphorical sense used in love songs.
Yeah.
Like, ooh la la la, baby, I love you.
Yeah.
Right.
But do you think it might be an actual baby?
She's trying to get knocked up and then she's gone the next day.
Goodness
Yeah.
me,
Wow.
they
See,
do.
that's what I thought.
They're pretty loose, those Europeans, aren't they?
Yeah,
so I
you
wouldn't
know,
be surprised what it was.
We used to play Ace of Base every day on Martin Malloy, and I don't remember having any discussions about whether it was a real baby or not. I just remember discussions like, can we shave the last 45 seconds off this, Gracie? If we fade it, will anyone know?
Oh, no.
All right, Nick, good suggestions.
Hi, Harry. How are you?
DJ Utsi with Hey Baby.
Oh, more baby work.
Yeah.
They could have had a separate tent for people like that, couldn't they, at
Yeah.
Live Earth? Do you want to do a bit? Are you going to sing some of it for us? Are you?
No, I don't think so.
It was
I think Alan Brough should.
He is the man of musical theatre.
I know. Yeah, I can't remember how it goes.
It was sort of like a modern version of Hey Baby from
hey, babe, that's right. I want, yes.
from the Dirty Dancing soundtrack.
Yeah. So basically, was the normal song with ooh and ah put into it, wasn't it?
That's
Yeah.
That's his genius. That's the Otzi genius. Thank you, Harry.
No worries, thank you.
Hello, Mike. How are you?
I'm really disappointed that Devo weren't like the official mascots because with those pot plants on their head, they looked like a group of coal-fired power stations.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So if we could have had the whole of Wembley in the Devo helmets.
And then Tism could have come out as a wind farm. Would have been brilliant.
That would be good. Imagine seeing millions. They were called ziggurats, weren't they? Their headwear.
Is that right?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, and so millions of people in energy-efficient ziggurats with little solar panels on the top of them. We are not men. We are wind farms.
Yeah. There we are. And what song would you like to have seen them do, Mike?
Oh, look, I don't know. It'd have to be probably something that windswept, I think, that's going to be, full of nature. Devo really driving the storm.
Yeah, freedom of choice.
Gates of Steel.
Girl You Want, and of course, theme from Dr. Detroit.
Absolutely.
Let's not forget that one. Who's going next?
Hang on a second.
Yes.
They also did the theme for Revenge of the Nerds too.
Oh, did they? Nerds in Paradise?
Nerds in Paradise.
Wow.
It's in paradise.
There we go.
Write that down, listeners. That'll come in handy in future episodes of Get This.
Finally, Pat, how are you?
Pretty good.
Who missed out?
Russell Crowe in 30-odd-footed grunt.
And I would have liked to have seen the whole Sydney League, simply people who have been on television or in films and have formed a band. So Guy Pearce with Video Rodney.
Yes.
Russell Crowe with whatever band.
Toe Fog.
Okay, that's nice. And Tony Collette. Who else? Would
Keanu Reeves with Dog Star.
Oh, yes.
You'd have to have Stephanie McIntosh with
Yes.
all of her wonderful pop music.
Johnny Depp had an ill-advised band at one point there.
Yeah, and also
Jared Leto.
Jared Leto, that's right.
Oh, with 30 Seconds to Mars.
Yeah, worse than Dog Star, reputedly.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
And Patrick Swayze performing She's Like the Wind.
And Steven Seagal boots it home with Thunderbox.
Wow, we have got
Thank
Live
you,
Earth
Nikki.
2 ready to go. Britney is on the front pages again. Britney Spears has apologised for having attacked a reporter's car with an umbrella back in February, shortly after she shaved her head, claiming she was preparing a character for a film role. That's what she was doing. She was laying into. She was at work. That was at the office, laying into that car.
They're remaking Mary Poppins with Russell Crowe's character from Romper Stomper, and I think Britney's first up for the lead.
No, I've got the name of the film here. It's called The Britney Spears Story. Britney plays a shaven-headed nutbag who hasn't had a hit for 3 years and is reduced to pimping photographs of her oddly repellent nether regions to PerezHilton.com. It's going to be fantastic.
Ouch. So scathing, Tone.
How's that Perez Hilton? I know you're a big fan of him.
I hate that Perez Hilton.
Is he the world's most hateable man?
He's going to go close.
No, Peter Reith is retired now, so cross that off the list.
Reithy.
Yeah. I mean, how's he become famous? He's become famous for just stealing other people's photographs and then just scrawling stuff over
Put
it.
him on his website and going like, oh. That's pretty much his catchphrase.
He looks gay.
Oh my God, I got him. Guys, I've got him. I like to think that Perez Hilton has a team of like 35 writers. Who wrote this? Who wrote ooh? All right, who wrote this? You're fired. It's oh. You know that. You know that.
What about Brad Pitt? Look at this, Brad's surgery shock. Have a look at this photograph. There's a photograph of Brad Pitt recently, May 2007.
That's recent.
Looking very handsome.
Oh, he's handsome, all right.
Then here he is way back in January 2006.
I don't even remember those days.
He looks like me. He's had a lot of work done.
No, this was back in the days when he was standing in worse lighting.
Oh, that was...
That's what it is, because that's the only difference I can see between those two
Yeah,
photos.
pretty much.
What about this new go, which is photographing celebrities with their eyes shut? So this is the thing. We know the one where you want them to look stoned.
Yeah.
You just get them when they're blinking.
Yeah, that'll get them.
Anyone looks stoned if you photograph them mid-blink. The latest one is to get two celebrities standing next to each other. If one of them has got their eyes shut, you can try this at home. It looks like
sleepwalking,
staring at someone's tits.
Oh, right.
Here's Simon Cowell from your American Idol, photographed with his eyes shut next to various celebrities. Look at that one down the bottom there, bottom right hand.
Yeah, he's asleep.
He's just got his eyes shut.
He's asleep.
Oh, so all night. He spends 8 hours ogling tits, does he?
Now, see, this is... the funny thing is that they've got, like, all right, Terry Seymour. She's a presenter of some sort. She's quite the nork. That's fair enough. And then the other person that apparently he's desperate to cop a look at is Sharon Osbourne. Haven't we all wanted to down-blouse her?
Good morning.
In our weaker moments.
There's one of which is just going way over the top, which is Ashton Kutcher looking at his stepdaughter, who's Rumer Willis, who apparently is getting a bit Chesty LaRue.
Really?
And but like he's just carrying on a conversation, but in the caption they're
'Cause he's
alleging,
taller.
like a Woody Sun-Yi thing going on.
Oh dear.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Now, how about your Famous magazine?
Just talking to her.
Yeah, see, that doesn't seem like it's for real, right?
Right.
And Famous magazine's got the stats to prove it, what's real and what's not.
Oh,
It says
really?
63% of Famous readers do not believe that Nicole and Joel, her boyfriend from Good Charlotte, who are coming up shortly, no doubt, are a perfect match. It goes on to say that 80% of Famous readers believe that the federal election will be won by either John Howard or Dean Geyer, and 100% of Famous readers believe, like, Grey's Anatomy is better than Ugly Betty because the doctors are so cuter. Jess and Jake get it on. Apparently, Jake Gyllenhaal has hooked up with Jessica Simpson in a rebound relationship, which I know you're not a fan of at all, Tony. But pals say that their rebound relationship won't make it past the physical stage. Fantastic. I imagine if you'd hooked up with Jessica Simpson, it's pretty much the physical stage I'm after, Rich.
So that's a bit of a carrot, is it?
Yeah.
Fine, we'll stop at the physical stage.
All right.
Yeah, I think I can cope with that.
Yeah, it's going to be a stretch, but jeez.
I'll save the Mensa gear for Lindsay Lohan.
You might miss out on some of the scintillating repartee, like the chicken of the sea tuna.
Yeah, absolutely.
What about Liz Hurley? Have you seen this business? Fans who logged on to Elizabeth Hurley's website and saw a cute little girl wearing a cute bikini and big white sunglasses were left stunned when they realised the girl they were looking at was really Liz's son, Damien.
Oh, no.
She's put her son in a bikini on her own website to advertise, to try and shift some swimwear. Liz suggested Damien pose in the bikini, explains a source. Other people were uncomfortable with it, but she insisted. How's that? Even online sex pests are going, oh, that's just wrong.
Even Ashton Kutcher wouldn't be looking at that cleavage accidentally. while having a conversation.
See, my mum used to dress me and my sister up in sailors' outfits.
Yeah, we got the little Lord Fauntleroy gear.
Yeah.
That led to, head first down the toilet. But would your mum have made you basically dress and drag and then present yourself to the entire world?
No, I don't think so.
That wouldn't have any ramifications in the schoolyard, would it?
Not at all.
No, that 21st speech is writing itself.
Beating him up at school. And this is for extreme measures. While we're there. What have you got over there, Mr. Marsden, show business-wise?
Did you happen to watch the Elton John interview? I find Elton John fascinating, like so many years in showbiz. And always a great storyteller, lots of celebrity friends.
Kidding me?
It's pretty much the Zelig, isn't he, of showbiz?
He knows how to dress. Didn't I see him in a Donald Duck costume recently?
That was, I think that was from the 70s.
Hurley put him in it. It was Hurley's idea. Go as Donald. What? All right. Whatever.
But he gave an interview last night with Denton on Enough Rope.
Yeah.
And the big revelation of that interview was that he found at one stage his life was so chaotic and he was so wrapped up in the showbiz world because he's always had staff around him that he actually could never operate a washing machine. He didn't know how to actually look after himself to the point where he could load the washing in.
Yeah, he couldn't get the Donald Duck costume in.
That's right.
The front loader.
Don't you hate it when you pull out your hair and it's shrunk? I hate that. The glasses have stretched. I've got to do it with hot and cold. Keep on getting confused.
It's time for a song,
Poor old
surely.
Elton. No, let's not.
No.
Well,
it's got to be something better.
We've got some more. Paris Hilton, has she been mentioned on this show recently?
No.
We've
Not since she was last in prison.
We've got. Well, the thing is, she's out of prison now, and the
Out
New
of
Weekly are pointing out when she was released, the heiress told the world she was a different person. But on a recent Hawaiian holiday, she looked like the same spoiled socialite. Remember, she said she was going to devote herself to charity work, becoming a role model, raising awareness of great causes. Here's a picture of her still going about her usual gear, but in disguise.
Okay.
See, she's got a dark wig, hat, and sunglasses. But there's no mistaking that haughty, disinterested pout and obnoxious, unjustified sense of entitlement.
There it is.
That a mile
There
away.
it is.
Check it out.
Yep.
And what is she going to do? What are her plans? Has she announced her plans? Charity work? Anything yet?
No, she said she wanted to work with some of the people she went to prison with.
Oh, yeah.
I forget some of the other charities.
She didn't seem very interested in it as she was saying it. Apparently she's working on free apricot facial scrubs for the homeless. No African child to go without at least 1 hour per year on a sunbed. That's the plan.
Nice.
That's something
nice.
she's working
Very
towards.
Nice. They need that.
Eritrean crack babies to receive signed photographs of Paris Hilton.
Selfless.
Signed by a publicist, obviously. There's only so much one person can give.
Absolutely right. There's only so many hours in the day.
Get this, it's blown out to 2 hours, 11 to 1 weekdays on the Triple M network.